It was only a matter of time before the digital world finally proved God. Even though cameras have been around for a while, this one guy thinks that photography proves God. This really could be the evidence we've all been looking for when it comes to the existence of gods. Say cheese, we're going in. Hello, I'm the Skeptic, the British floating circle that watches people make extraordinary claims, and then I explain why I don't accept what they're saying. Nick Long makes videos that are usually about photography, but I guess it didn't take long for him to admit he's a believer in gods, and that his passion is what proves gods is real. I mean, mate, you could have just stuck to what lens is best, or lighting tutorials or something, but you just had to make your channel about gods. How do you know when someone is a Christian? They tell you, of course. Nick has reasons that he thinks his God exists, and it involves photographs, deer, and a heart defect. But before we get into all that, if this isn't your first Skeptic video, hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell to prove that the algorithm can actually work. And a super thanks to those that hit super thanks in some recent videos. Mikhail Lundgren, Kevin, and Pavel Nadolski. And a big thank you to channel members who get to use Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe and more hen emojis. Lisa the Rainbow Giraffe bestows leaves upon you all. More hen. Prove God then, Nick. Or take a picture, it'll last longer.
Greetings, YouTube. Long time no see. Normally we talk about technical things related to photography and Darktable and all that stuff, but today we got something a little bit different than our normal discourse. And I recognize with the content of this video, it's possible I risk losing many subscribers. And you want to know what? To be honest with you, I don't care.
And that's okay, but the algorithm will mess that up for you anyway. And this kind of subscriber to view ratio seems to be the new normal, at least at the moment.
Why, you ask? Well, to be perfectly honest, I didn't make this YouTube channel for some kind of fame or attention or subscribers. I mean, I got the subscribers and all that bag of chips and all that.
Yeah, no one does it for that.
I made this channel because I wanted to take the genuine thoughts and experiences I've had with regarding photography and potentially even life and actually share them with other people, maybe that it might mean something to somebody else. And I did promise a nugget of proof in this video, and I'm not pulling your leg. Stick around to the later end of this video and I'll show you.
Oh my, actual proof. Why hasn't this video blown up? It really blows my mind when someone has actual proof of a god but only 383 views. That would have gone viral instantly.
Intrigued yet? Well, grab a cup of coffee, stick around, and let's talk about God.
I'm British. It'll be tea or gin. I'm not hardcore enough to drink whiskey like some folks I know. Shaking your head like that's one terrible cup of coffee.
Friends, I absolutely love photographing deer. They are so gentle and they are so majestic. And I had this experience a couple months ago where I had the opportunity to witness the birth of a young fawn. And it was amazing and it was beautiful, and I totally forgot my camera.
What kind of video was that? I thought these things we have on us all the time were great photo-taking tools. I mean, unless that wasn't your video. You seem to do a good job of capturing it on video, though. But what kind of photographer uses an iPhone in portrait and not landscape? Jesus would not be happy.
But it ended up being one of the best things that ever happened to me. Why, you might ask? Well, instead of focusing all my mental energy into just getting that perfect shot, I actually had time just to sit down and just watch and experience it with my own eyes and just feel and enjoy what was actually happening. Just experiencing it. And you know, this experience with the fawn really pulled on my heartstrings.
I don't blame you, mate. Seeing life happen, the cute little eyes, the oversized ears, the blood, the pain, the afterbirth. Well, such a magical time.
And it's because I have a personal experience when I was born. You see, I never mentioned this on my channel before, but when I was born, I was supposed to die.
Of course you've never mentioned that on your photography channel. Why on earth would you? So guys, when framing up a shot, think about the angle, the light. I was supposed to die when I was born.
You see, the very day I was born, they realized I had a heart defect on my pulmonary valve. And I learned recently, actually, that more than 100 people prayed for me that day.
100 people? Wow, that's like more than 99, but a ton less than the folks that get together each year to pray away atheism. I wonder if it was the prayers that saved you, or if, I don't know, medical professionals who have seen this thing time and time again knew what to do to fix it.
That'd make it be here to tell the tale. I am. And I look back at this and realize that life is such a miracle. And I saw that through the birth of that fawn. And, you know, I've been photographing landscapes, animals, the night sky for many, many years now. And I've been looking through this lens. And I never asked myself, was the evidence for God?
Ahoy, mateys, I see treasure on that there island. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Right in front of my very eyeballs. And was I too arrogant to see it?
Too arrogant to see something that isn't there? No. Too naive to then make something up? Probably.
All right, so now it's about to get real. I want to share another experience with you guys. All right, so about a year ago, I started having some really weird dreams.
Wait, were they the ones where you find yourself in an all-male changing room and then you start fisting a cabbage, or is that... No, wait, never mind, carry on.
Two in particular, and precursor, I was in a really good place emotionally. My YouTube channel was thriving. I had maybe some 3,000 or so subscribers at the time. My marriage was thriving and doing really good. I was pretty happy emotionally. I was really happy with my life. And out of nowhere, I just had this really weird dream. I was by my parents' old bed in the house I grew up in, and all of a sudden I felt like I was being suffocated to death. And I vaguely remember maybe the presence of a serpent or something, and I thought I was going to die. It was terrible.
Maybe your marriage wasn't thriving as much as you thought it was, and that was your wife in the middle of the night.
And just out of nowhere, something just came and punched my arm, and I woke up, and I was like, what the just happened? And
is there any possibility you could have hit yourself in your sleep? I once got woken up by my wife after I apparently elbowed her in the back when I was dreaming of fighting off a giant. That genuinely happened. So, you know, people do move around whilst they're sleeping, so that's not remarkable.
I felt like someone had literally just socked my arm. It scared the shit out of me. And I was scared. I was kind of terrified, honestly. And I don't even think I went back to bed after that. And kind of in my thoughts, I just thought to myself, what if something about the way I thought isn't working the way I thought it was?
That was the first thing you thought of? Not trying to come up with a logical explanation? I guess it was middle of the night stuff. All right, fine, carry on.
What if maybe things were different than I thought it was? Like, we always ask to ourselves, how are we right? But we never ask, how might we be wrong? Am I wrong? And to be honest, I went that day into my basement, and my wife, her grandmother had this King James Bible, and she left it with us, and I started reading it very nervously. And I started reading the first book in the New Testament, which is the book of Matthew. And I had another dream that night, and I saw Jesus in a dream, and it was remarkable. The most remarkable dream I've ever had.
So, wait, you read a book with a character you visualised, which books tend to encourage that since you visualise what's going on as you read the words, and then later you saw the things that were on your mind. And you find that remarkable? Wow, my friend, you are easily impressed. Let me show you a card trick sometime. I will blow your mind.
And he was just looking at me. He's like, son, you sure I don't exist, bro? Well, have fun with that in the morning. And sure I did. And here I am now on YouTube sharing my story with you.
Wait, you're a guy, what, late 20s, still waking up with, you know? Is that how you had fun with Jesus in the morning? What's the story, Morning Glory?
So friends, like, context here, like, I grew up with a physics background. I have a physics education. My undergraduate's in physics, my master's in space studies, and very technically cerebral-minded person. And
that went out of the window when you had a wet dream about a character from a book.
I also grew up I hated religion. I hated Christianity. I grew up in a Christian household.
You grew up in a Christian household? You Hated religion, just like 90% of stories other folks tell where they hated the religion they grew up in, mostly because it interfered with cartoons and Xbox or something. Quelle surprise.
I hated going to churches with smelly carpets and old people.
Two things I hate most in life. Old people and carpets. If I was a praying circle, that's what I'd pray to have removed.
And I hated how some people who espoused to be like really good Christians were very judgmental and very nasty to me, and it like really pushed me away, and I felt like everything was so rigid, and I felt like I just had to fit into this cookie cutter that I could never possibly fit. It wasn't what I wanted, and that was my perception of Christianity. And I learned as I started reading this book and just changing my paradigms that I was totally and completely wrong.
You should read some other books. You'd want Middle-earth to be real if you read Lord of the Rings. You might even get to beat off some morning wood to Frodo if you read it just before bed.
See, Jesus Christ is the only God. There are many supposed gods, aren't there? But Jesus Christ is the only God.
What? Because you said so? If that's how we do it, then I disagree. Lisa, the rainbow giraffe leaf be upon her, is the only god. She's the only one because she ate all the other gods before pooping the earth into existence billions of years ago.
Who deemed us as more worthy than himself.
More worthy than itself, unless you don't accept it, and then it's eternal punishment for you.
That he suffered on the cross, had his skin ripped off.
His skin was ripped off? When did that happen? Did someone want to wear Jesus' skin to their birthday? I swear, one day the story will be that Jesus was crucified, had his skin ripped off, was eaten by a Carnotaurus and mashed up by a giant squid before resurrecting 3 days later or something.
Probably 51 sometimes, had his hands nailed to the cross and suffocated on the cross and died for us that we might be freed from our own corruption.
Corruption? Like being an adult pretending to be a pirate? Ahoy, matey! Arr.
Our transgressions, and he took the weight of our entire lives and put them on the cross such that we might be brought closer to God.
Hundreds, maybe thousands of years before those things even happened. Yeah, I just don't buy it, mate.
Jesus is the only God, God in the flesh, who has done that for us. That is the love of God. And when I realized that becoming closer to God was actually very freeing.
Flashing up John 3:16 won't get you anywhere because when it comes to the Bible...
No one cares!
And also not believing in a God is very freeing. You free up your Sundays. You free up the mental space with the gymnastics you'd have to perform to try and justify the God. You free up cash that you'd otherwise have to donate to the church.
And it wasn't rigid. It wasn't compressing. Something that actually actualized my life. That spiritual component that was always there, that was always missing. Now it's here, and I feel like a completely different person, but not trapped. I feel very invigorated, actually, and kind of feel like, honestly, this is the best way to explain it, like, kind of like I was a kid again, like everything just feels normal.
I thought you said you disliked religion when you were a kid and hated the carpets and old people. And I don't know, maybe Santa and the Tooth Fairy were still beliefs of yours, so perhaps believing in nonsense when you're a kid is normal and you just felt justified believing in more nonsense? I don't know, I'm just throwing ideas out there.
I gave a mustard seed size amount of faith in God, and he gave me 100% of God in return.
If you gave a mustard seed-sized amount of faith in one of the Hindu gods, would that god then give you itself? How about Thor or Ra? You saying, I believe in this thing, and then you thinking that that's the right thing to believe in, doesn't make the thing you believe in actually exist, pal.
Just like he said he would in his word. And I'm dumbfounded.
I'm dumbfounded that you keep quoting Bible verses, especially ones that don't demonstrate the God, just what people who wrote the verses believed about the God they were writing about. Fortunately, it's the Bible, so...
No one cares!
All right, and I promised you that nugget of proof, and here it is. So, God must have really wanted to humble me in my scientific ass, because I learned later that the King James Bible that was originally put together in 1611 is mathematically perfect in ways that we simply can't explain with a rational mind.
Wait a gosh darn second there, you musketeer. Are you admitting you can't be rational when it comes to this, so it's best to be irrational and make stuff up?
And it seems to defy what is mathematically possible.
That would probably make it not possible then, and maybe not true.
Don't believe me? Well, go check out Brandon Peterson's channel at Truth in Christ and check out some of his videos. I've linked one below. What he does has absolutely blown my mind, and it's kind of it's really humbled me, but it's also amazing. And I wanted to share that with you, that it might mean something to you and might intrigue you.
You're right. I'm somewhat intrigued as to what the ridiculousness in that video is.
Give it a shot. Friends, I genuinely appreciate you letting me be just completely genuine and open with you in this video. I hope you found it extremely intriguing. If you did, please give me a like. It really helps out the video. And tell me, what has photography taught you?
That even some great photography creatives can be convinced of nonsense. Okay, I think I need to see at least a clip of this other guy's maths proof that can't be conceived by a rational mind, so it's up to the irrationals to believe it.
What is the Elton anomaly? The Elton anomaly is the count of the entire King James Bible, which is a total of 7 to the 7th power. Or 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. 7 to the 7th power, or 823,543, is the total number of words and numbers in the King James Bible. It's the structure of the Bible plus the text of the Bible. So if you look on the screen here, you can see that there are different elements that you could consider counting when you're coming up with a count. Because what exactly are you counting? So it includes the verse text. It includes the psalm superscriptions. It includes the colophons. That's the text of the Bible. And it includes the structure of the Bible, which is the cover of the Bible itself, the book titles, the chapters, the verses, and the Psalm 119 divisions. When you combine all of that, you get 7 to the 7th power. Now, what's so amazing about this count is that it's not cherry-picking different items from what we could use.
That's it. A book that isn't even from the source, but a translation of a translation that was made to dumb things down so more folks could understand it, has a random number of words and numbers, including page numbers, which no one ever takes into account, but you had to use it to make it make sense, is the proof that there's a God. You're right about one thing, Nick. No rational mind would ever think that was proof of something divine. Seriously, though, photographs and dreams don't prove gods. Word counts don't prove gods. Gods prove gods. And to this day, no gods have proved themselves. But thanks for playing. Try again next time on Photographs Prove God, which you didn't even touch on anyway. But maybe you thought Nick did a good job of demonstrating sky beings. Let me know in the section below. I'm going to skeptic this as another rational reaction to some irrational claims. A big thank you to this month's top level ticks on Patreon: Dark Ether Piao, Tamo, The Barely Bearable Atheist, George, Godless Granny, Addy Rockhart, The Enixes, Jakari, Elizabeth, Whiskey Tech Fred, Rick and Ray, as well as all the $3 base ticks and channel members. You can become a supporter on Patreon too at patreon.com/theskeptic. The link is in the description, along with links to all my other socials. Or become a member by hitting the join button below this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. From me, the Skeptic, stay safe, keep thinking logically, and ask questions. Skepticism is the first step towards truth. See you next Saturday.